I have entered into a union with an emotionally aloof alpha. He harbors no affection for me. He recoils from my touch. Whenever I utter a few words, he adopts a stern countenance and admonishes, "Speak properly, do not act coy." I respond. I find myself distressed at the impending onset of my heat. At that moment, my gaze was drawn to a series of comments. "Oh dear, darling, please refrain from rewarding him further. Be wary lest he ensnare you. You might find yourself utterly entranced. Did you not notice how the old man's eyes are tinged with crimson? It seems he is on the verge of losing composure. Encountering a sweet little darling like you, Fu Chengyan's heart must be racing beyond measure." 1. Recently, there have been whispers in our circle that the Stoic CEO, Fu Chengyan, seems to have transformed into a different person since his marriage. "You all know, I'm now married and have a family. My wife is quite strict," he remarked. "I have to be home by 7 sharp, or else there will be a scene." My friend Yi Lingbei imitated Fu Chengyan's tone during our phone call, bursting into laughter immediately after. "Shangsheng, you've trained him well," he teased. "How did you manage that? Teach me too." I lay on my bed, feeling a wave of melancholy wash over me. But I've never demanded that he return home by 7. Do you think he might have another Omega outside? Fu Chengyan harbors no fondness for me. One could even say he loathes me. Yi Lingbei reassured me, "Shangsheng, you're overthinking it. This is merely a classic case of a husband under his wife's thumb. Tell me, who in our circle could consistently return home by 7, turning down all social engagements just to be with you? Is it truly the case?" I perked up at the sound of the door opening. I quickly sat up from the bed and straightened my clothes. "Bebe, I have to go, he seems to be back." I dashed out, only to find Fu Chengyan changing his shoes at the entrance. I excitedly approached him, beaming, "You're back." Fu Chengyan responded coolly with a nonchalant, "Mm." I reached out to take his bag, but he deftly evaded my grasp. "I can manage." His rejection left a dull ache in my heart. "All right then. What do you want to eat tonight?" "Can tell Auntie. Anything is fine." I am fond of Fu Chengyan. My instincts compel me to draw closer to my alpha. As he stepped into the living room, I followed closely, engaging him in conversation. Suddenly, he halted. I collided with his back, catching the faint scent of his pheromones. Amber, crisp, elegant with a resinous woodiness. Unable to resist, I inhaled deeply. His scent was intoxicating.
Fu Chengyan frowned, clearly displeased.
"Don't stand so close." I froze in place, watching him stride into his study. Since our marriage, we have never shared any intimate moments. Fu Chengyan has been avoiding me, even sleeping in the guest room at night. Observing his indifferent silhouette, a wave of sorrow washed over me, and I felt a lump rise in my throat. My estrus period is approaching next week. Given how much he detests me, he would certainly not assist me. If he does not like me, why did he agree to this union? 2. Having skipped dinner, I lay in my bedroom, secretly shedding tears. "Bebe, I'm so heartbroken. Fu Chengyan has been too harsh on me. How could he treat me this way? He pretends to be a good husband in public, yet remains so cold towards me. I graduated from a prestigious university, raised as a cherished top-tier Omega, and I am both beautiful and fit. Why doesn't he like me?" Yi Lingbei was incensed. "Is Fu Chengyan truly treating you this way? What a hypocritical scoundrel." "It's fine, Shangsheng. Even if he doesn't like you, you still have me. I adore you more than anyone else in the world." Having grown up together, Yi Lingbei, also an Omega, shares a close bond with me. I blew a kiss into the phone. "Bebe, I love you the most." A knock on the door interrupted us. Turning around, I was startled to see Fu Chengyan standing at the entrance. Surely, the CEO of the Fu Corporation wouldn't stoop to eavesdropping? "What is it?" "I just came to grab something." Fu Chengyan's gaze swiftly scanned the room. Upon noticing me, his ears flushed crimson, and he turned his face away. Following his line of sight, I glanced at my appearance. Disheveled, sprawled on the bed, my white tank top having slipped down to my waist, paired with loose shorts that barely reached mid-thigh. Though we are married, I felt inexplicably embarrassed. Fu Chengyan approached the wardrobe and casually retrieved an item before hastily leaving. I buried my face in the blanket, mortified. It was sweltering, and I had dressed lightly for bed, never anticipating Fu Chengyan would walk in at such a moment. Would he dislike me even more now? Suddenly, a barrage of comments appeared on the screen. "Oh no. Baby, don't reward him too much. Be careful he doesn't take advantage of you. The kind that leaves you dazed, you know? Did you see his ears turning red? Seems like he's about to combust. With a sweet little thing like you around, Fu Chengyan must be losing his mind. We demand Fu Chengyan's perspective from just now." These unexpected words caught my attention, and I curiously studied them for a moment. In broad daylight, They were more explicit than the encrypted messages Yi Lingbei sent me. My cheeks flushed in embarrassment. 3. A few minutes later, Fu Qingyan called from the doorway, "Pei Shang, come out for a late-night snack." Puzzled, I donned my clothes and stepped outside. I saw Auntie Zhang cheerfully bringing a bowl of congee from the kitchen. "Mr. Fu noticed you hadn't eaten, probably due to the heat affecting your appetite, so he asked me to make a bowl of seafood clay pot congee. Do you think it suits your taste? If not, I can prepare something else." How did Fu Qingyan know I liked seafood clay pot congee? "Thank you, Auntie. I love it." Comments scrolled by. Fu Qingyan must have been worried at dinner when his wife didn't eat. Without his wife around, he can't even enjoy his meal, hastily searching online. What to do if my wife suddenly skips dinner? I inadvertently glanced at Fu Qingyan on the sofa. Our eyes met unexpectedly, and I caught a glimpse of that tender, infatuated gaze he couldn't conceal. Fu Qingyan quickly averted his gaze, pretending to be nonchalant as he returned to his phone. Comments continued. Infatuated Fu, caught stealing glances at his wife while eating. The sweetness is unbearable. Haha. Even during meals, Shangsheng is so adorable. We must steal her away. I'm hopelessly drawn to this infatuated type. How can he only dare to steal glances with such a beautiful wife nearby? Reading this, I felt a sudden pang. I acknowledge my beauty, but what on earth is happening with Fu Qingyan? Did he not despise me? The painting I had given him, he hadn't even glanced at. I had never set foot in his guest room. He forbade me. The next morning, Fu Qingyan called me. He had left an important document at home. "Could you bring it to the office? If you don't have time, I can send my secretary." "Sure, I have a free day today." "Thank you. No problem." Though we are married, Fu Qingyan remains excessively polite. His cold and distant tone makes our relationship feel less like that of spouses and more akin to a hierarchical one. Upon entering Fu Qingyan's company, a multitude of curious glances were cast in my direction. His secretary awaited me at the entrance. "Hello, this is a document Fu Qingyan has asked me to deliver." I intended to hand it over and depart. However, the secretary declined to take the document, insisting that I deliver it directly to Fu Qingyan's office. "This document is rather important. I do not possess the authority to accept it." "Very well then." I stood beside Fu Qingyan's secretary, waiting for the elevator. His respectful demeanor soon led several employees to deduce my identity. At last, we meet Fu's stunning wife. She is truly beautiful, an exquisite, delicate omega. Before seeing him, I thought Fu was rather exaggerated in concealing her from us. Now that I've seen her, I can only lament that I am not Fu, for I would be even more extravagant. With such an omega wife, I would never leave the house. Fu's 7 principles are far too conservative. I greeted them amiably and stepped into the elevator amidst their hushed exclamations. From their discreet discussions, I gleaned a particular piece of information. It was said that Fu Qingyan had a cherished first love, but they were forced apart due to an insufficient pheromone compatibility. Could it be that someone as aloof as Fu Qingyan is capable of harboring affections for another? My union with Fu Qingyan largely stemmed from our high pheromone compatibility. Would he then abandon me for a more compatible omega in the future? Fu Qingyan's office is located on the 32nd floor, and upon my arrival, he was still in a meeting. The secretary escorted me inside before taking his leave. As I idly wandered around Fu Qingyan's office, I unexpectedly spotted the painting I had previously gifted him, Spring Wild Cherry Blossoms. I had thought it had been discarded, yet it was displayed prominently on the office wall, the sole adornment on an otherwise blank canvas. One merely needed to glance up from his desk to behold it. A photograph of the two of us also rested atop his desk. In the image, I appeared to be merely 20, and Fu Qingyan looked youthful as well. We both wore shy smiles for the camera, though I could not recall the occasion when this photograph was taken. The comments flowed in. "Haha, P has worked his magic. Fu Qingyan secretly had someone edit this. He cherishes it and watches it 100 times. Alas, Fu Qingyan is too secretive. Having harbored a crush for 10 years without confessing, even after marriage, he still dares not hold his wife's hand. Joe, when will he realize that he has liked you since a decade ago? Now I understand. Not all love is fervent and radiant. Some lies hidden within the heart, timid and hesitant to advance." Before long, Fu Qingyan returned in a flurry, his breath somewhat unsteady, likely due to his urgency. "Pei Shang, you haven't waited long, have you? I appreciate your effort in making this trip." The secretary called from behind. "Hey, Fu, hasn't the meeting concluded yet?" Fu Qingyan replied curtly, "That's enough for today." He turned and closed the office door, leaving just the two of us and that important document. Unable to contain my curiosity, I asked, "Fu Qingyan, What is the story behind this painting? Fu Chengyan glanced at the artwork awkwardly. It's nothing. I just liked it. So I hung it up. I pressed further. And what about the photograph? That was a mishap orchestrated by Lao Lu and the others. Don't pay it any mind. If you dislike it, I can dispose of it later. Poor Lao Lu, who had been Fu Chengyan's companion the longest, now found himself as the scapegoat. I couldn't help but chuckle at Fu Chengyan's blatant deception. Could you send me a copy? I would like to keep one. Fu Chengyan's eyes brightened instantly. He actually yearned for a proper photograph of us together. Suddenly, a comment appeared. Am I finally going to witness the long-awaited office play? The Omega's pheromone suppression patch fails, triggering the Alpha's uncontrollable desire, and then, oh my, things are about to get steamy. Today features the sweet little secretary and the aloof, abstinent CEO. After reading the comments, I remembered that in my haste to deliver the document to Fu Chengyan, I had forgotten to change my pheromone suppression patch. A thought struck me. I looked up at the tall Alpha before me, my Alpha, with a pitiful gaze. Fu Chengyan. I was in such a rush today that I forgot to change my pheromone suppression patch. My arm feels a bit uncomfortable. Could you assist me with the patch? Fu Chengyan stared at me in disbelief. You would like me to help you? His tone held a mix of caution and delight. I countered. You are my husband. Why wouldn't you? Such matters should naturally fall to you. Had I not mentioned it, you would not have taken the initiative. All right, I will be more proactive next time. The usually composed Alpha swallowed hard, his gaze growing eager and hungry as it fell upon the slightly reddened, warm gland at the nape of my neck. The air was thick with the rich, sweet scent of gardenia. Fu Chengyan longed to sink his teeth into it, to wholly possess the Omega before him. Suddenly, for reasons unknown, I spoke up. Be gentle, please. I fear it may hurt. Fu Chengyan responded in a hushed voice. Understood. As his warm fingertips made contact with my gland, I could not help but shiver slightly. After the task was completed, Fu Chengyan appeared more flustered than I. A thin sheen of sweat glistened on his palms and forehead, and throughout the entire exchange, the nape of his neck remained flushed. Just as the comments had suggested, he was exercising extreme restraint. Before departing, I quickly kissed his cheek. Before he could react, I hastened to the office door. Thank you, my husband. I must take my leave now. Remember to return home before 7. I will be waiting for you at home. All right. Fu Chengyan's eyes sparkled with uncontainable joy, and his lips curled into an uncontrollable smile. The comments erupted. Who understands? The Alpha has completely succumbed to those sweet words. Husband. Oh, who wouldn't want to be called husband by a sweet little Omega? I want that too. Darling. Wife. I'm right here. Your otherworldly husband. I never leave the house. Fu Chengyan, once a workaholic, has recently found that his greatest anticipation lies in returning home after work. Even when social engagements arise, he adheres to the 7 o'clock rule. Shang, I'm back. Upon seeing me, Fu Chengyan enveloped me in a warm embrace. He carried the scent of alcohol yet remained alert. I guided him to the guest bedroom to rest. Although I was aware of Fu Chengyan's affections for me, until it was formally acknowledged, I harbored doubts. What if those comments were mere fabrications? Upon opening the door to the guest room, my eyes were immediately drawn to a light green checkered shirt draped over the bed, accompanied by a familiar little lamb pillow. I had heard that during an alpha-sensitive period, they often fervently collect the clothing and pillows of their Omega as a means of nesting. Throughout the month of our marriage, Fu Chengyan had displayed a demeanor of perfect normalcy. According to the housekeeper, his sensitive period had already passed. Perhaps he did not truly need me after all. Those garments were not even mine. I immediately turned away, pretending to have seen nothing. As long as I avert my gaze, I would remain unscathed and untroubled. However, Fu Chengyan's face flushed crimson, from his neck to the nape of his ears. He stepped forward, addressing me, Wife, I am truly sorry. I took the initiative to confess. I was feeling so miserable at that moment that I couldn't help myself. I feared alarming you, so I secretly took a piece of clothing you no longer wanted. The garment belonged to me? The comments streamed in. Isn't that the outfit from 2 years ago? It somehow remains to this day. You persistent suitor. How could it be you? That clothing might no longer be clean. What Fu Chengyan has done with it, only he knows. On those pitch-black, suffocating nights, curled up in bed, he clutches a piece of clothing imbued with his wife's pheromones. Upon reading the comments, I suddenly recalled that I did indeed possess such a garment. I had purchased it while shopping with Yi Lingbei, but after wearing it merely twice, I discarded it. Little did I know it was salvaged by Fu Chengyan. Yet, I had not even known him 2 years ago. How did he manage to acquire my clothing without my knowledge? But once I learned of Fu Qingyan's feelings for me, I could hardly contain my anticipation. I gazed intently at him. Fu Qingyan, I demand the truth. Do you have feelings for me? My previous infatuation with the white moonlight was now a thing of the past. It mattered little to me. As long as he still cherished me, that was sufficient. I do. Fu Qingyan responded without a hint of hesitation. He shook his head again. Oh no, it's love. Shangxing, I love you. Each declaration of love resonated with profound sincerity, reverberating in the air. After speaking, Fu Qingyan cautiously stole a glance at my expression. I had never noticed before, but his gaze was always filled with adoration and affection whenever it rested on me. I locked my eyes onto his, absorbing all the love emanating from Fu Qingyan. How did you come by that clothing? Interestingly, I happened to pass by your building one day, and a gust of wind blew, causing your garment to fall right onto my head. How did you know it was mine? I had nearly forgotten about it. With so many clothes in my wardrobe, this one, seldom worn, barely registered in my memory. Fu Qingyan blinked and softly replied, because it carried the scent of your pheromones. My pheromones had a white gardenia fragrance, so remnants were to be expected. Little did I know, despite his outward appearance of propriety, he harbored such peculiarities, secretly inhaling my clothing. Yet I found it endearing. Then why were you so cold to me before? You clearly liked me but consistently pushed me away. If it weren't for the comments, I would have never realized his affections. I might have even thought he disliked me. Just as Fu Qingyan was about to respond, Yi Lingbei's call interrupted us. I had no choice but to answer, leaving Fu Qingyan momentarily aside. Bei, what's the matter? Yi Lingbei's voice came through, tinged with tears. Wu, Shangxing, your brother is truly insufferable. It's 9 o'clock at night, and he still hasn't returned home. Who knows where he is off having fun, ignoring my messages and calls, deliberately making it impossible for me to find him. I immediately reassured him, don't worry, I'll message him and find out. Yi Lingbei's relationship with my brother, Pei Heng, was rather complicated. He had pursued Pei Heng for quite some time, and though they had finally come together, his anxiety and possessiveness were becoming increasingly evident. He constantly feared that Pei Heng might be deceived by other omegas, especially since Pei Heng had once been quite the carefree spirit. I had advised him on this matter numerous times to no avail. Reluctantly, I took out my phone and messaged Pei Heng. Big brother, where are you? Bei says he can't reach you, and the call has come to me. Pei Heng replied promptly. At the front door. I've been squatting for 2 hours. It was not my place to meddle too much in their affairs. Just as I put my phone down, a pitiful-looking figure with drooping eyes appeared beside me. Fu Qingyan, what's wrong? Fu Qingyan looked at me with a sense of grievance. His eyes filled with unspoken accusations. Shangxing, you've never spoken to me in such a familiar manner. I know you have someone else in your heart. I've tried not to disturb you, but could you please make room for me? I simply wish to be by your side. By any means necessary, Wu, even if I can't be called your husband. He must have overheard part of my conversation with Yi Lingbei that night, particularly the part where I said, Bei, I love you too. The comments flooded in. Fu Qingyan has finally gathered the courage, but it's so pitiful. Wu, did he misunderstand something? That's just Shangxing's best friend. After all. Was Fu Qingyan feeling jealous? I was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. His eyes were reddened as he spoke, creating a particularly heart-wrenching sight. I couldn't help but ruffle his hair. He is my friend, my best friend since childhood. Of course I am close to him. Firstly, he is an omega, and secondly, he is in a relationship with my brother. Now can you finally explain why you were so distant with me before? Having drunk some alcohol, Fu Qingyan was quite candid, his words flowing more freely. He began to address my earlier inquiries. I distanced myself from you because I was afraid of scaring you. I liked you so much that I was reluctant to approach, striving to restrain myself. Everyone else has their wives to manage them, but I do not. They boast daily about their wives calling them home, while I, even after drinking until midnight, have no one to care for me. I am a pitiful alpha without the love of a wife. I thought you did not marry me willingly. How could someone as exceptional as you, Shangxing, possibly have feelings for me? The comments surged. Wu, insecurity is a man's best accessory. Fu Qingyan, do you not know that tears are like an aphrodisiac for a wife? If you cry a bit more, your wife will surely be in tears too. I have reasonable suspicions that the previous comment is driving a vehicle, but I lack evidence. Fu Qingyan's face was the most handsome I had ever seen. At that moment, the corners of his eyes were tinged with red, shimmering with unshed tears, gazing at me with profound emotion. It stirred something deep within, akin to the gentle caress of soft feathers. Fu Qingyan, Have I not yet told you that I also like you? The desire to unite with you stems from my affection. My yearning to be close to you every day is driven by love, and requesting your assistance in applying pheromone suppressants is also because I care for you. Addressing you as my husband is likewise born out of love. No sooner had the words left my lips than warm, inviting lips met mine. Although Fu Qingyan's movements were gentle, they were imbued with an irresistible intensity. Our lips and tongues intertwined passionately, and I felt myself being gradually overwhelmed, my consciousness blurring, while the sound of our heartbeats amplified in my ears. Darling, I like you so much. Fu Qingyan's sultry voice resonated from my left ear, penetrating the depths of my soul. I couldn't help but respond, I feel the same. Suddenly, a loud creak interrupted us as the door swung open. Sir, the hangover soup is ready. Ah, I apologize, sir. I shall leave immediately. I saw nothing, Aunt Zhang exclaimed before hastily closing the door again. I looked up at the evidently flustered Fu Qingyan and raised an eyebrow. Shall we continue? This marked our first kiss. Fu Qingyan's Adam's apple bobbed, his eyes reflecting a deeper desire. In a husky voice, he murmured, Darling, if we continue, we shall become true spouses. We didn't reach the end. Fu Qingyan and I each retreated to separate restrooms. The comments flooded in. Ah, what is it that our esteemed membership cannot witness? Bang, 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 bang. Please continue. I will contribute 100 flowers for you. How wonderful. We are trapped in the little black room plot. There is no escape for us. In the end, Fu Qingyan silently took his pillow and moved back to the master bedroom. The next day, Lingbei invited me out for a meal at a newly opened seafood restaurant. Upon meeting, I learned that he had quarreled with Pei Heng once again. Lingbei vented his frustrations, spouting out an endless stream of grievances. All alphas are the same. Once they get what they want, they turn their backs. They used to pamper me, and now they treat me so poorly, especially in bed. Shangsheng, you haven't let that hypocritical little man have his way with you completely, have you? I shook my head. Of course not. Although we had done most of the things, the final step was yet to be taken. As Lingbei bowed his head, his collar slipped, revealing his neck. The constellation of red marks was a testament to the intensity of their encounters. I pointed and asked, are those mosquito bites on your neck? Lingbei pondered for a moment and sighed dramatically. It's a long story. Indeed, it was a super handsome mosquito, about 6 feet tall. I concurred. Then he must be quite impressive. As we spoke, we exchanged knowing smiles. How could I not understand him? A beauty lover. He would compromise anything in the face of Pei Heng's undeniable allure. Lingbei bit the straw in his mouth and sipped some chilled watermelon juice as he said, I plan to stay silent outside for 3 days, let him experience the agony of being out of touch. Do you think I'm being too dramatic? Will he hate me afterwards? Just as I was about to respond, he dismissed his own concerns. Never mind, 3 days is too long. Let us make it 2. No, 1 day is better. I chuckled helplessly. All right, I'll support whatever you choose. The exquisite Omega before me smiled brightly as he opened his phone to show me photos. Let us go to the beach. I've booked a hotel with an incredible view. I heard there is a super handsome busker nearby who has been going viral online. You'll accompany me, one to you? Of course. That evening, I found myself staying with Lingbei in a seaside room. I received a message from Pei Heng, inquiring about Lingbei's whereabouts. Those two truly are a match made in heaven. I sent him the location. Meanwhile, poor Fu Qingyan returned home punctually at 7, only to find his wife had vanished, taken away by the very person he had once envied fervently. I messaged him to comfort him. Ah, husband, wait for me. I'll be back in a couple of days. Right now I'm just out with Bei to unwind. Fu Qingyan replied with a crying emoji. All right. What is a home without you? I couldn't sleep well today. Last night, he had returned to the master bedroom for the first time, too excited to fall asleep all night. In his arms lay his alluring wife, exuding a captivating fragrance. Yet, Fu Qingyan was unable to move. He had stealthily gone to the bathroom several times in the middle of the night. But today he had nothing left. Only a cold bed and a missing wife. Shengsheng, who are you messaging? Lingbei returned with a coconut in hand, casually handing one to me. Fu Qingyan. He's just a hypocritical little man. Don't pay him any mind. All right. Half an hour later, Pei Heng arrived. Shengsheng, Xiao Bei. Looking at the tall and mature alpha before me, I greeted, Big brother. Pei Heng was the child adopted by my parents. My mother had only become pregnant with me when he was 10, and my parents had joyfully welcomed me in their later years, lavishing me with affection from a young age. They treated Pei Heng with the same kindness, never neglecting him for being an adopted child. Moreover, in the future, he would be responsible for managing the Fu family's assets. I merely wished to lead a carefree life, painting and indulging in sweets. Leaving the space for the two of them, I wandered aside to see just how handsome that busker Yi Lingbei mentioned truly was. As I strolled past an intersection, two alphas suddenly appeared, blocking my path. Dressed in ripped denim jackets, with a row of turquoise tattoos adorning their arms, they looked menacingly ugly. Where did this beautiful Omega come from, wandering out here alone? Let Big Brother accompany you. And a virgin Omega at that. Brothers, we're in for a treat tonight. I had never encountered such a scene before, and I couldn't help but frown and shout. Get lost. I suggest you leave quickly. My friend is on their way. The taller alpha grinned maliciously. Perfect. Your friend is also an Omega, right? We just saw them, they might be having a grand time right now, not a care in the world about you. It seemed they had set their sights on me from the start and had followed me here. I feigned calmness, though panic surged within me. I quietly dialed both their numbers, assessing the power dynamics. If a fight broke out, my chances of winning were a mere 20%. The comments flashed by. Keep your filthy hands away. Don't touch our sweet O. Fu Qingyan is on his way. Baby, just buy some time until he arrives. Two disgusting lowlifes. Hurry and drag them out to be dealt with. After reading the comments, I finally felt reassured. So, what will it take for you to let me go? Do you want money? I can give you whatever amount you desire. The Alpha's repulsive gaze fixed on me. Do we look like we're short on money? The air grew thick with the scent of metallic corrosion, aggressively encroaching upon me. He released his pheromones. I turned to flee, but my body began to heat up, my limbs turning weak. You're truly revolting. The foul pheromones relentlessly assaulted me, clouding my senses, each cell in my body screaming in discomfort. At this rate, I might very well be induced into heat by the alpha. The tall alpha approached me, and just as his hand was about to touch me, he was suddenly kicked in the stomach and sent sprawling backward. Shangxing, are you all right? It was Fu Qingyan. Upon hearing his voice, I relaxed entirely, collapsing into his embrace. Fu Qingyan, you finally came. Upon learning our location, he rushed over immediately, hoping to surprise me. Thank goodness he arrived. Influenced by the Alpha's pheromones, I was forced into an early heat. Fu Qingyan took me to the nearest hotel. Shangxing, hang in there. I'll have someone bring up some suppressants right away. I clung to Fu Qingyan, my reason drowned in the feverish heat, yearning for more. Fu Qingyan, you are my lawful partner. I feel awful. I need you. Fu Qingyan released soothing pheromones, providing a semblance of relief, but I remained uncomfortable.
Mark me, Fu Qingyan.
Fu Qingyan's body tensed, struggling to control his strength. Shangxing, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. I'll try to be gentle, all right? If you feel uncomfortable, you must tell me. 3 days later, the room was filled with the rich, sweet fragrance of gardenias, mingling with the scent of amber. The terrifying heat had finally passed, and I lay peacefully in Fu Qingyan's embrace. He gazed down at me, content, tracing the contours of my face gently with his fingers. After 10 years, he had finally completely claimed this Omega as his own. Every inch of me saturated with his essence. This sensation enveloped him with profound satisfaction. He felt no fatigue. His entire being surged with an exhilarating fervor. If given the chance, he could engage in battle for another 3 days, fully recharged. His only concern was whether I could withstand it. The barrage of comments had turned into a blank screen, overflowing with explicit content, mercilessly reduced to, once the storm had passed, Yi Lingbei was still consumed by guilt. I am truly sorry. It was all my fault that you nearly got hurt. I reassured him, you need not blame yourself. I am perfectly fine, am I not? If blame is to be assigned, it should fall upon those two alphas. They are the ones who owe me an apology. In our society, Omegas are afforded legal protection, and any infringement upon them is regarded as an exceedingly grave offense. Even in the case of an attempted violation, the involved alphas were imprisoned, subjected to the full extent of the law. Yi Lingbei's eyes welled with tears. Had I not insisted you come with me, and left with Pei Heng, none of this would have happened. This incident was indeed an unfortunate accident, unrelated to Yi Lingbei. I had never considered assigning blame to them. He then mischievously winked at me. As compensation, I've arranged for a grand gift to be delivered, which should arrive by tomorrow. What is it? I felt a wave of unease wash over me. Yi Lingbei, in a mysterious manner, refused to divulge further details. You will find out tomorrow. I soon forgot about the matter and went directly to my studio the next day. I had established a small painting studio, living the leisurely life of a proprietor. The gift Yi Lingbei sent arrived at my home, signed for by Fu Qingyan. When I returned home that evening, the conspicuous parcel caught my eye, causing my face to flush crimson. The title alone hinted at its contents, all of which were quite indecent. I attempted to shield the box with my body. Oh, this is, North must have filled out the address incorrectly. I will send it back to him tomorrow. Fu Chengyan observed me with a bemused expression. Is that so? Shall we give it a try tonight? I paused, bewildered, and asked, try what? Fu Chengyan's lips curled into a faint smile. We cannot let his thoughtful gesture go to waste. Comments. Hehe, what are these two planning to do? So hard to guess. Report. It's our familiar little black room scenario. After awakening, Fu Chengyan seems to want to be glued to his wife 24/7. He'd prefer to remain there indefinitely. At this rate and frequency, the child will be crawling by next year, sending 24 boxes along with the gift. Same as above.
Jurse die lgbtq.
When old Lu's call came through, I was painting on the balcony. Sister-in-law, hurry. Something has happened to Brother Fu. I immediately set down my brush and rushed to Fu Chengyan's company. He had just been in a meeting when suddenly his pheromones spiraled out of control, plunging him into a frenzied state, only calmed by the presence of my pheromones. Once I had him under control, I could not help but ask old Lu, how could he lose control like that? Such an occurrence had never happened before. Fu Chengyan lay unconscious in the office's lounge. Old Lu hesitated to answer. Wait until Brother Fu wakes up to ask him. I frowned at him. I am married to him. After all this time, do you think he would voluntarily divulge anything? I am his legal partner and I have the right to know. Only with this knowledge can I respond appropriately. Old Lu finally relented. It's because he underwent surgery before and had his glands replaced. Fu Chengyan had previously undergone gland transplantation solely to enhance the compatibility of our pheromones. Upon hearing this, an indescribable emotion surged within me. How much more had Fu Chengyan concealed from me? When Fu Chengyan awoke, his gaze fell upon my troubled expression, leaving him somewhat flustered. Old Lu, what happened? Did you upset your sister-in-law? Old Lu chuckled nervously. Brother Fu, I promise I didn't say anything. After sending old Lu out, I remained alone with Fu Chengyan in the office. Recalling the rumors I had heard about his white moonlight during my previous visit to his company, I began to formulate a hypothesis. Fu Chengyan, is it true that you have an infatuation with someone you refer to as your white moonlight? I heard that you two were forced to part due to low pheromone compatibility. Could that person be me? Fu Chengyan hastily clarified. No, that is not true. The only person I have ever liked is you. There is no white moonlight. If there were, it would be you. You know I've liked you since I was 18. Our first encounter took place in a park on the outskirts of the city. I had gone there for a picnic with Yi Lingbei, and the cherry blossoms were in full bloom. I set up my easel beneath the trees, casually sketching. Just then, a serene young man passed by under the cherry blossom tree. I quietly captured his silhouette on my canvas. It was during that moment that Fu Chengyan fell for me, igniting a 10-year-long secret admiration, though I had never recognized him. While chatting with Yi Lingbei, I mentioned my future partner. Of course, I want an alpha with high pheromone compatibility, and he must love me dearly. Fu Chengyan had secretly undergone a pheromone compatibility test. Our results were dismally low. He underwent that perilous surgery merely because of a casual remark I made. Fu Chengyan, are you foolish? I adore you simply for being you. I wouldn't love you any less because of low pheromone compatibility. It is you that I cherish, and this moment is the best outcome. As I spoke, tears began to cascade down my cheeks, landing heavily on Fu Chengyan's hand. Warm and damp, he gently enveloped me in his embrace. Shangxing, my wife, I love you, and I am willing to do anything for you. What a silly man. Later, Yi Lingbei and Pei Heng welcomed a delightful child, often bringing him before me to boast. Fu Chengyan remained outwardly impassive, though inwardly he was quite envious. In the evenings, he would sneak into my bed. Wife, we should have a child too. I find myself longing for their little one every day. I hope he is like you, an adorable Omega. All right. A year later, Fu Shuyan, please stop crying. Your father wants to sleep. I need to earn milk money for you tomorrow, all right? The infant's cries grew louder.
Fu Chengyan felt overwhelmed.
As Fu Shuyan grew older and began walking, he became particularly attached to me. Daddy Fu Chengyan was not pleased. Go away. This is my wife. Do not compete with me. Fu Shuyan was a miniature version of Fu Chengyan, an alpha in appearance and temperament. With his chubby little hands on his hips, he declared, I won't. I want daddy. As he grew older, Fu Shuyan began frequenting Yi Lingbei's home. Yi Lingbei and my brother had a child named Pei Xuan. The test results revealed that Pei Xuan was a beta. However, from a young age, Pei Xuan exhibited a cool demeanor, with a passion for dance, often dressing in a stylishly cool manner. Children of the same age would eagerly chase after him, especially Fu Shuyan, who would run breathlessly behind him in his pink overalls. Xiango, wait for me.
Xuan Yi.
As I watched the children's figures fade into the distance, Fu Changyan and I exchanged knowing smiles. This concludes the narrative. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again in the next tale.